6 behaviours of a terrible client. Asking for raw footage right out of the gate. A strange but a common one. Why do you want the raw footage? Are you going to bring someone else in to edit what I've done if you don't trust me? Again, why hire me in the first place if you don't trust me? Are you an editor? Do you know what to do with B-roll and with vlog? Do you have the software? What's your plans for it? Now, what sometimes people mean is they just want it to have so that they can repurpose it later on. I do provide that. I'll give you a final version, and if you want that, I can cut and colour grade everything that I've shot that's usable and give that to you for other posts. But just to ask for the raw footage with no other context is a bit of a red flag. Pushing deadlines and then going AWOL. Usually this is a sort of power move, unless we've established a deadline or a turnaround time that we need to have so you can then get it posted out for a campaign. You're just asking for it for your own personal sake. It's usually a red flag. I've got a friend who was asked for footage on Christmas Eve a few days after he completed the shoot. The campaign wasn't due to start for another month. The guy just wanted it. He got the footage turned round, sent it over, he didn't open it or download it for days and didn't provide feedback till much later, so that just indicated that he wanted him to just to send it on, but he wasn't too bothered about the results. So a bit of a red flag. Unless there's context, again, communication is key on this part. Strong opinions but with no clarity. I've had clients be in meetings and use phrases like premium and luxury, using these broad terms with no real idea of what are we doing here, what are we shooting, what are we creating, what do you want to show. It's just like, I don't know, I want a general vague sense of this, and it's very strong. Of course, it's not the job of the client to tell you exactly what you should be doing, shortlisting or giving you direction. That's my job, and that's my job to bring those ideas to life. The problem becomes when they have this private vision or a feeling, but they don't even know what that looks like. So you're constantly trying to compete with this emotion that doesn't exist, it's just an idea. And I had a client with this, and they now post a lot of AI slop, and I genuinely think that's the best working relationship they could have. Just keep doing prompts, try things out, and keeps the cost down, and they can just churn things out. But again, really frustrating when you're trying to compete with someone's internal life. Big dream, but no budget. I've had this happen quite a lot where they say, oh, think of Apple or think of Dior or Cartier or some big brand, and they think that's the kind of level we want to be at. A lot of the time they will catch themselves and go, oh, I know, but I'm only spending $1,000 or whatever. But that's something you really need to keep in mind. And another thing you need to think about is the budget you're providing at this sort of level is the fee of the videographer / editor. When it's at a commercial level like that, you're paying for art direction, crews, locations, models, props, editing, VFX, all these things. It's not just the fee of this one person. When you're paying for this ad, you're getting the videographer and editor, usually their equipment, their expertise, their edit time. That's usually it. Everything else that's above that is cost that you need to provide or stuff that you need to provide. So when you hire someone and you have this big dream, you need to be thinking about, do I have the actors or people that can stand in to give it this scale? Do I have costumes? Do I have all these other bits and bobs that really give it that certain level? So when you're looking at references, really try and think about what's going into it and then compare that to your budget, so you can think, is this something I can pull off, or is this something the videographer can maximise? This is that stuff I try and do all the time. Maximise what little you have with the style of shooting, the lighting. Do as much as you can, but again, you have to be realistic with what you're willing to pay and the results you want to get. Changing the goalposts. Now this is why pre-production is so important, something I touched on earlier. But once you've shot the thing and you've done all your questions in pre-production, like some things that I usually ask is anything you'd be disappointed in if you didn't get, the specific audience you're trying to target, anything that you've seen that you like the look of, any references you could provide, anything that's inspired you to make this video, or to fund it rather. That sort of things that I ask ahead of time, so it sort of keeps me from being liable if anything gets missed, because I've asked you up front, like anything that you really would be upset if you didn't get. But it also makes you think, like, what's the essence of what I'm trying to do here? Because a lot of the time you'll go ahead with things, you'll shoot, and you'll be like, oh, it'd been good if we had this or had that. You have to accept that once we've went through that process together, it's partly my job to do that, to ask what you really want here, but you also have to learn to communicate, and it could be a learning curve for you. You know, spending this money and hiring people to come in, maybe next time what you need to do is put more focus on the locations, or put more focus on the time allocated to actually get things done. But again, when you move the goalposts after everything's been said and done, that's really frustrating as a videographer. And the last one, and I think it's the worst offence, is late payment or non-payment, having to chase people for your money after you've done the agreed work and the agreed time has passed. This is the worst crime, and it seems to happen more and more to creatives like writers, photographers, videographers more than it does to like tradesmen. That's what I always try and compare it to. If you hired a joiner to do work in your house, how do you think it would go down if he said, oh, I'll get round to you, or I do my invoicing at the end of the month, but I don't care, you asked me to do this work here. If you didn't have the money to pay, then why did you ask me to come in and do this? I held up my end. So if that offends you and you don't like what I'm saying here, unfollow, and you deserve to get leathered. Never bump creatives.